For us his inspiring speech entitled Dreams and Delusions.
Dreams and Delusions.
Dreams and Delusions. Let's welcome our very own advanced communicator gold, Raju Mandhyan.
My life. I have been waiting to be this outbox Sylvester Stallone, and I knew I could outsnarl Al Pacino. But half my life has been an ordinary one. I have been an engineer, an educator, a businessman. I have also been a husband to one wife, a father to 3 kids, and a master to one cranky old dog. One fine day, I got tired of waiting to be discovered as an actor, so I went and offered myself to the local repertory. One look at me, Madam Toastmaster, and they knew that I was the star to be born. They gave me the best and the most important role in Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, that of a Roman statue. Back at home, my dog jumped with excitement as I told my wife and kids about it. They agreed I was good and I would be famous soon. Then their thinking went a bit further. My kids, they saw my name and my face being splattered all over gossip columns and magazines. My wife, her thinking went a lot further. She saw me being chased by women of all sizes, shapes, and colors. And that, ladies and gentlemen, made her mad. She then did what most women do when they get mad. She walked out of the room, banged the door, got into the car, said she had some soul searching to do, but went shopping. My kids, they snuck away into their rooms, and my cranky old dog went back to being cranky. I didn't care. I didn't care. All actors have to go through hardships and hurdles before they become big and successful. Tom Hanks was a waiter, Denzel Washington was a bus driver, and Harrison Ford was a carpenter. And besides, you guys, you Toastmasters, have taught me that one must dare to dream. So I sat down to memorize the lines of the Roman statue. That evening, the wife came back. She'd found her soul, and she'd also bought a pair of shoes she didn't like. She said she was sorry and that I could go ahead and be what I wanted to be. Now, my world was on my side, and I was on my way. The next day in my office, before leaving for the rehearsal, I had a leisurely cup of coffee. I typed a few letters on my old typewriter. I gave some instructions, and then, on the way from my office to the repertory, I took the long route. Got stuck in traffic, couldn't find parking, but I finally reached the studio 60 minutes late. All the other actors and the director of repertory, they were behind a glass partition practicing. I knocked and asked to be let in. When the snooty old director of the repertory, she came out and she said that I was fired for being late and I could go home. Fired? I hadn't been hired yet. Besides, did she know that I was the star to be born? I decided to wait. I decided to wait and give that snooty old director a chance to beg me back into the play. On a wooden bench outside the glass partition, I sat down and I waited. And I waited. And I waited. 3 hours later, the snooty old director did not come out from behind the glass partition, but my reflection in the glass partition, it began to speak. It said, "Why were you late, Raju?" Reflections do not speak. It said, "You were never late, Raju. Why were you late this time?" I turned to the side and stared into the distance. This time, my reflection, it screamed. It said, "Answer me, Raju! Why were you late?" I was late. I was late because I was afraid. I was afraid that the thing I was calling my dream wasn't a dream but a childhood fantasy, a figment of my own mind, a delusion. Although on the outside I was ready to go for it, something on the inside held me back and made me go late for the rehearsals. Something on the inside told me that my reality was much more valuable than being a Roman statue in Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. I was late because I was afraid. Sometimes in our life we get so carried away by the rainbows of our own mind that we forget that we may have long surpassed those dreams, but we keep on going on with the chase for the sake of the chase alone. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes, just like there is a fine line that divides truth from fiction, love from lust, there is a fine line that divides our dreams from our delusions. Our grace comes in when we realize and recognize the difference. Our glory comes in when we blend our reality with our dreams. Realizing this, I slowly stood up from the wooden bench and walked towards home. My reflection smiled at me. Back at home, as I told my wife and kids about my revelation, my wife, she kissed me gently. My kids, they hugged me tight, and my cranky old dog began to nod his head wisely. That day, ladies and gentlemen, I had gone out into the world of stars to fetch myself a pair of fancy dancing shoes, but I had come back home having found my own shining soul. Good evening.